In conjunction with this historic storm, we were anticipating widespread power outages, and we were well prepared for that. We mustered an army of over 20,000 field personnel from Duke Energy's territories, not just here in the Carolinas, but also Florida, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and another 9,000 personnel from 25 states and Canada. So we were poised and ready to attack this storm as soon as it was safe to do so. And since Hurricane Florence hit, we've been able to safely restore about 1.1 million customers so far. About a third of our customers here in the Carolinas lost power. We serve about 4 million homes and businesses, and with 1.4 million customers having been impacted, we're pleased with the restoration progress that we've been able to make so far, especially under such challenging conditions. But we've got a lot more work to do, particularly in the hardest hit areas. In the most heavily impacted counties in North Carolina, we've had up to 75% of our customers lose power. We've got about 6,000 resources already down there in that coastal zone that are positioned and continuing to work to restore power. But it's going to take us a number of more days to be able to do so because of the challenging flooding conditions that you've referenced.
I had read ahead of time that there were expected to be many millions potentially of people who went without power. I realize that might be beyond just your customers. You said you were anticipating some heavy losses too. Was this better or worse than you had anticipated, given the winds being downgraded, but then the rain being worse than expected?
Well, this was consistent with our range where we thought we might lose anywhere from 1 to 3 million customers as a result of the storm. Fortunately, the winds were not as high once Florence came ashore. But as you referenced, the flooding has just been absolutely historic. We've had torrential flooding, some areas getting over 30 inches in less than 3 days, and more to come. We're actually currently under a tornado watch here and have flash flood warnings in effect throughout the day. But we're continuing to make really good progress with our restoration effort because we know our customers are counting on us.
In terms of the customers who have gotten back, that was pretty quick work to get 1 million people back with power. The ones who are remaining, 400,000 or so, is that a situation where it takes days or this could take weeks just to get them back to power?
Well, it's really going to depend on the conditions. You know, our field crews are really doing heroic work, working underneath these constantly changing conditions, floodwaters, high winds, and so it's going to depend on how safe it is for them to continue to do their work in those hardest hit areas. We are still completing our damage assessment. We're using helicopters and unmanned aerial devices or drones to be able to complete that damage assessment. We haven't really been able to do that as completely yet because the storm has just lingered and lingered. We'll be able to complete that today, though, and that'll give us a better estimated time of restoration for those customers. But it could take another week or more for the hardest hit areas.
David, how would you compare what you've seen with Florence to situations you've lived through in the past? Is this the worst you've seen, or is this comparable to something else?
Well, I've lived in North Carolina my entire life, and I've seen a lot of bad storms, a lot of bad hurricanes. But this is absolutely the worst. I mean, the torrential flooding is something that is really heartbreaking for me personally to see, for particularly the eastern communities. Just 2 years ago, we had Hurricane Matthew, and that was a 100-year flood. I thought that would be the worst I ever saw in my life, but this certainly surpasses that. But our teams are continuing to work through the challenges that are presented every day, even every hour, and I feel confident that we're going to be able to get through this together.